What's up, Mid Michigan? Thank you so much for joining me at the digital desk. I'm your digital news anchor, Kyle Macon. And yeah, guys, it is a Thursday. You got 2 days left until the weekend. Hopefully, a lot of you guys maybe are getting off early. Sadly for me, I won't get out early enough to go hunting, but I will be out hunting this weekend. But of course, we're at the digital desk. We're going to take a look at some of the big stories coming out of mid Michigan. We have a fire over in Burton, updates on that strike at Henry Ford Genesis Hospital in Grand Blanc Township, and a few feel good stories. So let's get right into it and take a look at the big stories coming out of mid Michigan. All righty. So this story was a breaking news story overnight last night. A garage fire in Burton spreads to two homes. So it was on the 1000 block of Kenneth Street in Burton around 8:28 p.m. So we really don't know too much about this so far, but pretty much what we know is that crews from the city of the Burton Fire Department were on scene battling the fire. The fire began in a home's garage and would spread to a home that was connected to it, as well as the other neighboring on the back side. So heat from the fire also damaged siding of some of the nearby homes and garages. Said that there were, and thankfully the chief, Kirk Wilkeston, says that no injuries occurred due to the fire. And they obviously had mutual aid from other fire departments, and crews from Consumers Energy were called to the scene. But yeah, we go to a ton of fires, and I will tell you, not every fire is as bad as this one. I mean, like, you can just see how bad the flames are on. So obviously we go to fires and yeah, we can see the smoldering, all that stuff, but not all the time do we go there and the fire is just like this. So I just wanted to show you guys just how it is. We don't know how it exactly started in the garage. But either way, it just sucks for the families involved because now they're houseless. And sadly, they had to sit. I'm going to guess one of the whoever's house it was is sitting on the side watching it happen. So thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. And if there's anything we can help you guys with, get a hold of us and we can head over there. Obviously, as long as the fire stuff investigation is done and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, you can just see just like completely destroyed there. But yeah, just a terrible fire. But like I said, if you guys do know the owners of the home, once the investigation is over, tell them to get a hold of us. We can definitely get you guys some help, and maybe get a GoFundMe or something on our website to get you guys some help. And then moving over to a story that we've been covering for months. At this point, the union at the Henry Ford Genesis strike has filed for unfair labor practices. So Henry Ford Genesis and the union, which is Teamsters Local 332, have been striking for over 2 months now. And so we kind of knew this was going to happen because this filing of unfair labor practices comes from is because on November 4th, a Henry Ford Health spokesperson, they actually ended up doing a impasse, which is pretty much saying that they're implementing the terms of their proposed contract because they think that they won't be able to reach an agreement with the union. However, Teamsters allege that the declaration of the impasse is unlawful. So this is actually from Teamsters Local 332 President Dan Glass. Henry Ford has pulled out all stops from refusing to bargain face-to-face, to making unlawful threats against Teamster nurses, to declaring a false impasse. We file these charges with the National Labor Relations Board because we've had enough. Teamsters have been committed to reaching a fair deal from the very beginning. The employer has done absolutely everything to avoid reaching a contract, and it cannot continue. So like I said, we kind of knew this was happening. I talked to a professor about this whole situation, the impasse. We knew this was going to happen. So an impasse pretty much just allows a company to implement its contract, but obviously the union has a right to appeal that. So this is what they're doing. They're pretty much appealing that impasse, saying that, hey, that's not right. We've been coming there, being bargaining in good faith. And so that's kind of why you're seeing this filing of unfair labor practices. So what this means is after this will happen is it will be looked at from the National Labor Board. There will be people that will look at it from the outside in. They'll do a fact-finding process where they'll get all the facts involved. How has negotiations been going? What have they been looking like? What has been said? All that stuff. And then eventually they'll collect it and they'll just go to a vote and pretty much say, is this an impasse or is it not? If it is declared an impasse, well, then Henry Ford Health gets to implement that contract and the nurses can no longer probably strike. However, if they find that there are unfair labor laws, well, then the hospital could face some issues. But obviously, that still has to go under investigation. Things have to be voted on and all that stuff. So it's going to be a little bit, but yeah, we just wanted to keep you posted, kind of tell you a little bit more, break it down a little bit, make it more simple. So, like I said, this all comes from the impasse, and pretty much, even though they're filed, we still have to have a fact-finding portion of time. Then once that happens, a vote will happen, and then you'll find out more if it was truly unfair labor practices or if the hospital had a right to declare an impasse. So we'll keep you guys posted when that happens. Obviously, the strike has been going on for some time now. So yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. And moving over to feel good news, because you know I love my feel good news. Your Thanksgiving dinner is going to cost less this year. So that is some great news for all of us. So the American Farm Bureau Federation conducted their 40th annual Thanksgiving dinner survey, finding that the table of classic dishes for 10 people will cost $55.18. Now, this is down 5% from last year and sees the third straight annual decline in prices. But still, we've not fully recovered from the price with the record high price, which was in 2022, which I believe was right in the midst of the pandemic. I don't know. It's been so it's time just travels by so fast, you kind of get stuff mixed up. But anyway, guys, the one thing that is definitely important on this, turkey prices are the lowest since 2022, with the average price of a 16-pound turkey at $21.50. In the past, turkey has accounted for the average of 43% of your total dinner costs. This year, it only accounts for 39%. Now, there are two ingredients that are going to cost a little bit more this year, fresh baking ingredients and vegetables. But specifically, sweet potatoes are up 37% because North Carolina is a huge producer. And obviously, we know they got hit by a hurricane, which caused a lot of problems with their yields and all that stuff. Also, veggie trays and stuff like that were also another pricing. So pretty much vegetables, anything that has to do with, vegetables kind of being grown down in the South, kind of had some issues with some weather and stuff like that as well. So also, the Midwest ranks the second lowest in price out of the 4 regions that make up the United States. The number one is the South. And if you guys just want to take a look at the full breakdown that the Farm Bureau Federation did, you can find it right on our website at midmichigannow.com. And then moving over, my last story, guys, and I had to put this in because we need your guys' help in getting this cutie, Foxy, a home. And why? Because she's depressed. All right, you guys, she's been in there for a year and a half at the Humane Society. Obviously they do their best to take care of them, but they're still stuck in cages. So she really needs someone that would be willing to take her in. She seems like a great dog, but she arrived in the shelter in March of 2024. But her journey has not been easy. She came from a home where she was repeatedly attacked by other dogs, leaving scarring on her face. You can see right there. But the biggest thing is because of those dog attacks and being in a home where that was obviously an ongoing issue for her, she cannot be in a house with other animals, but they want you to know that don't be worried about the scars. She's still a sweetheart. She's really sweet to all people, from young people to seniors. But she just needs a specific home that doesn't have animals, which you could understand if you're getting attacked every day from them. But like I said, she is showing signs of depression. They pretty much say that, because of her being here for so long, she's not quite as energetic, and you don't see her personality as much. So that's why I wanted to tell you guys about it. So look at this cute face, Foxy. If you guys know a pet-free home that is looking to get their first pet, please reach out to the Genesee County Humane Society and pick up this cutie, Foxy. And yeah, it's just, you can see all the scarring. It's just like, a poor little baby. But like I said, we do a ton of these, and we've had some pretty good success in getting some animals rescued. And this all comes from Andrea Flores' rescue roundup that we have here at the station. So if you guys are a part of Humane Societies and have a dog that has been in a shelter for a long time, reach out to us, get a hold of Andrea, and she'll do a story with you guys and try to get that dog adopted. Like I said, we've had a handful of them get adopted from that series. So like I said, if you guys know anyone, let's get Foxy adopted, and we'll let you guys know if she does. But anyway, hope you guys have a good one. We're almost to the weekend. Enjoy it while we can. And I'll see you guys when I see you.